Hi friends, welcome back to the Latina Garden. Today is not your typical video. Today we're going to talk about when to start to garden, how to start to garden, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you've decided you want to start to garden. Let me just say that it is something that is always a work in progress. It might be the most expensive hobby you take, and it is one of the most rewarding, I think. So this is my current garden that I have. It has been a slow process. Every year I'm buying new plants, trying things out. This is something that is normal to just try and see if it works. It's kind of like that saying goes, you throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. That's what gardening is. So a lot of the time, once you start to get into gardening, it's because you see all these content creators that have these gorgeous, lush, beautiful gardens, and it did not start that way. It started like a bare slate most of the time, or just not a very good garden, and slowly they have just worked with it.
This is a couple of pictures of what my garden used to look like when we first moved in.
There's a lot of troubleshooting that you have to do. For me, it's my soil. I have terrible soil here. It is very hard, very clay soil, and is not ideal for a lot of the plants that I like. This has been one of my little favorite areas that I like in my garden, and I have just been so excited with it because it has really filled in nicely. So this takes time. It does not happen overnight. Sometimes it doesn't even happen within the same season. So things to think about. You want to know how big is your plant going to get so that you know how far apart you should plant the other plant. As a new gardener, I like to call myself a new gardener myself. I don't really follow the rules. I just kind of space them out a little bit, but not tremendously. So I don't follow all the gardening rules exactly, and that is part of gardening. You don't have to. Every climate, every area, even within your own yard, you have what we call microclimates. And that means that it might be super hot over here most of the day, and just a few feet over this area hardly gets any sun, so it's not going to get as hot, and different plants will thrive here. So those are what we call microclimates. So even though it's in the same area, same gardening USDA zone, different spots might do well with other plants. So with that being said, sometimes you can get away with using plants that aren't specifically for your area. Usually you can go down maybe like a number or two, or go up a number, and it kind of just depends on your microclimate. And so what I mean by that is I am in USDA Zone 9B, and I will sometimes find plants that might be only up to an 8 USDA zone. So I will use it. I will grab it. I will try it out. I will kind of see what area in my yard it might like. And then I kind of sit it there and see if it likes a spot. If it doesn't do well, it's okay. I will consider it as an annual, meaning that it's only going to bloom or work for me during a season, and then we can toss it and get a new one next year. Now, let's talk about the ugly. This is a pile of weeds. It's things that, as a new gardener, you might have the idea that, I need to have a nice, prim, proper, clean garden. And ideally, in an ideal world, that would be great. But I am a working mom of 4. My husband and I both have full-time jobs, and this is not always feasible to make sure that we, get all the weeds out, cut all the grass, whatnot. So it's okay. Like, it's your garden, and I know that if you were to have people over, you don't want to show this area. A tip that is helpful is to try to dedicate some time every day to your garden to kind of keep up with the maintenance. I am not that good at it. I do try to come out here a lot of the time is because I focus my time out here in my garden. I focus it mostly on making sure that I give my plants enough water. So I do not have drip irrigation around my border there. So because of that, or in my pots, because of that, I have to water it myself. And it is something that if you start to garden and if you have like a clean slate area, it is a lot easier if you start to look into irrigation. And there's a lot of things out there that you can put them on a timer, and you can set like how much water to give. And so ideally, you'd want to do something like that. For me, I just don't have the time because, again, I have 4 kids. A couple of them play sports. There's after school activities. Weekends are usually full with trying to spend quality family time. So it is hard to kind of get into the garden and to plan for those things. So when I'm out here, my first chore that I do, or first thing that I do, is I water the garden. Second, I do try to do what I can as far as controlling the weeds, the grass growth, things like that. And I kind of try to focus on one section at a time. Another thing, as you start to get into plants, you will buy plants even though you do not know where you're going to put them. And that is okay. They might struggle a little bit. This is a hydrangea. I got this the other day because it was half off at Lowe's, and I thought it was a good deal. And for the last 2 days, I haven't been out here to water because I have been working. And then when I get home from work, there was back to school night with the kids and meetings, things like that. And so I just did not get a chance to come out here and water my plants. So some of my plants have been struggling. And this one in particular, I am hoping that it will come back, that I can revive it because I love hydrangeas and I just think they're so pretty and I want them in my garden a lot. They do take up a lot of space. So when you do find those clearance plants that you're just like, oh my God, I can't let this go because it's so stinking good deal. Just be mindful of like, how big is this going to get? And will you have eventually an area to put this in? So I tend to buy a lot of plants. I look for sales and deals because this, again, is an expensive hobby. And I just want to show sometimes they don't plan out. So these I got and they kind of died on me. I don't know if they got too much water, too much sun. I'm not sure what happened, but they just did not work for my area. And these are foxgloves. So I do know that foxgloves is a perennial. I might see if it will come back again later. Let's see if it will rebloom. So sometimes I will kind of hold on to things just to see. But if not, I just toss it and it is what it is. You learn what plants work well in your garden and what plants might not be fit for you. So As a new gardener, you might be tempted into getting things that have kind of like a hard to kill type of plant or easy growers, which I definitely recommend. Zinnias is a good one. You can grow them from seeds. I would probably never purchase them in the box office or in the box stores or anything like that. I would just buy the seeds and just throw them around and see what comes up, because these are generally pretty easy to grow. They are kind of like a cut and come again type of flower, where the more you cut them, the more branches that will grow. Another one that I have found that I really like is the Superbina. This is from Proven Winners, and it is pink cashmere, and I love how it changes colors. So this has been kind of a low maintenance, really nice flower to grow as well. Sunflowers is another one you can grow from seed. Super easy to grow. The things that you do want to look out for are pests. So with flowers, you do want to kind of inspect them. Probably as you're watering would probably be the most easiest time. So as you water your plants, just kind of take a look at them, look around the leaves. Have they been eaten? Do you see any abnormalities with the leaves or anything like that? And you just kind of take that time to kind of just make sure that there's no pest. And if there are pests, you want to try to use the less harmful chemicals that you can. For me, I have a problem with aphids. Let me show you here. This is my milkweed, and it is full of aphids. Now I can, go ahead and spray it with neem oil or something, maybe a harsher chemical. Neem oil is safe to use. Like I said, I do have kids, so I do try not to use too much toxic things, but it can affect your pollinators. So most of us are growing gardens for our pollinators so that we can see the butterflies and the, bees and the, what are they called? Dragonflies. What else? All of our beautiful pollinator friends that we want to see in our garden. So you want to make sure that you are using something that's not going to harm them, make them sick, or, unalive them. Now, you will come across a plant, a flower that you absolutely love, but for the life of you, you struggle and you can't get it to grow in your yard. My advice, keep trying. Troubleshoot and try again. Why? Because this was the plant for me. This is called a delphinium. I love the color. I love the long stems. I love the blooms. I just think it's one of the most beautifulest flowers there is. And when I first got one, it died. I planted it. I got it from the store, planted it in the ground, did not like the area that I planted it, did not do very well, and it died. I have bought in, let me see, the first year I bought 2, and then one of them, out of the 2, one of them grew back again this year, earlier, and then I ended up buying 3 more, and then one died. So then I ended up with 3, but the one that from last year that came back was not growing very much, was not growing very big, and I wasn't sure what to do about it. I didn't think it was gonna bloom at all. And so what I ended up doing is I took it out of the ground, I replanted it. This is in a pot right here. And I did a little bit more research. I tried to find, a fertilizer that would be good for this spot. And now I've gotten these beautiful, beautiful flowers. So even though a plant dies is not a fail, it is just a new lesson, something to learn from it, and you keep trying. If it's something that you really want. I mean, if it's a plant that you're like, well, it was on clearance, I got it just to get it, it's pretty, but it's not something that you really love, then don't worry about it. Don't grow it again. It didn't function. Don't grow it again. But if it's something that you really want to grow in your garden, and sometimes it takes a couple of tries to, get there. Now, if you have children, I strongly encourage that you incorporate them into your garden. And what I mean by that is find plants that they might like I've planted this strawberry pot, which my kids absolutely love. They love coming out here. They will pick the strawberries. I have trained them, even Nico, who's 2, you need to wash it first. Not because, just because to wash it, but we do not use any type of harsh chemicals on here. I do fertilize it, but that's pretty much it. Just water and fertilizing it once a week. And it, grows, and it's something that the kids like, and they love to come out here to see if the strawberries are ready to pick off or not. So that is one way to incorporate them into your gardening. Another thing that they love to do, my 2 littlest ones, Nico, who's 2, and Luca, who is 5, they love to water my garden. Now, they do get soaking wet when they do try to water my garden. And I think that's why they love to water it, because it's an excuse for them to get wet. And right now that we are still technically in summer, for me, it's fine. I want to cultivate, I want to get them into gardening. My older kids, they also do like to help a little bit. My son, who's 10, likes to help me do my videos. So sometimes he'll record me, or he'll record something that I'm doing, and my daughter as well. So I want them to get excited about gardening, not just for, the pretty flowers, but for the veggies. I want them to know that they can self-sustain themselves if they need to. In the future, if they ever want to in the future, I want them to have that, little inkling of a passion to grow something that, they grew from seeds, and see it grow, and then enjoy the fruit of their labor. So I think gardening is something that is great for the whole family to get involved in. And it is something that little by little you can introduce it. My 2-year-old, I sometimes can be a little bit harsh with my garden, where he will pick all my flowers off of a pot because he thinks they're pretty, and he knows that I like them, and he'll bring me my flowers, and it's something that I gotta go, oh, thank you so much, but let's not pick them. So my other kids, they we share this area space, and they like to run around in this area. They like to play soccer. You can see soccer balls. I have them all over my yard because they love to play soccer out here. And, a lot of the times the soccer ball, hits the plants, breaks some branches. I've had so many times where they come in and they're like, Mom, I'm sorry, I knocked over one of your pots, or I broke a stem from one of your flowers. And in the moment, it is a little upsetting and sad. But I want them to like to garden, so I don't get very upset about it. And it is what it is. It's about sharing the space and enjoying each other's times when we're in this space. Okay, so I had to move inside because there's so much noise going on outside, but I want to talk about when is the best time to garden, and that is now. anytime, really. Doesn't matter what season you are in, I bet there will be something that you can start to plant and start to grow no matter in what season. Even if it's in the winter time, there are seeds that you can start indoors for your spring season, especially if you live in colder climates. You want to get a head start on your spring flowers. Starting them indoors from seed is a great way to start. If you live in a warm climate zone area like I do, I live in zone 9B, and right now is the perfect time to start thinking about your fall garden. It is a perfect time to start getting spring bulbs, especially right now. I've seen Costco started to have a little bit of a selection. I think Costco has great deals on bulbs. I think it's like $15 an app, but you get quite a few. If you are looking for something more rare, I would look into your local garden centers, more like the mom and pop type of shop, something that's more local, not the big box stores. The big box stores will have bulbs as well, but they will have kind of like the most popular that everyone's growing. So if you want to try something different, something a little bit more unique, I would look at more of a small garden center and just kind of start thinking about planting your garden and where you want to start, which section of your yard or whether it's your backyard, your front yard, what area would you like to start with, and go from there. I hope this video has sparked a passion for gardening, and I would like to let you know that it is okay to not have the best, clean, proper garden. When you are starting out, everything is new. You do not have to have everything perfect. Do things little by little. Pick an area, a section, and start from there. Get that area section to a point where you feel comfortable with before moving on to another section. Gardening, there's always room for improvement. There's always areas that you can add more things to later on. So don't ever feel that you have to get everything perfect and right the first time. I hope this has sparked an interest in gardening for you. I am so excited for you to start this new journey and new passion. And that is it for me today. As always, sow love, grow joy, and stay rooted. Until next time, happy gardening.